Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Thought Ladder Learning Circles. So, the aim of these sessions is to have an opportunity to hear from industry leaders and learn from experts regarding where they're heading, what they're working on from their experience. And this could be around startups, could be around various aspects of machine learning and AI, deep dives, and could also be successful career journeys. We have had a guest post recently from one of the authors who actually spent time as a software engineer at Google and end up taking a plunge in the startup world. Luckily, today we have Prashant Dhingra, who is the founder and chief architect of Dataknobs. He also spent time at Google as a software engineer and was head of data science at JP Morgan before starting in his own company. So today we have him. I hope that you will like this session. So we'll be doing this session on a recurring basis. Just a bit of housekeeping. We have a chat thread. If you have any questions, please do ask your questions there. We will try to moderate these questions towards the end. And first, we will go through with the presentation with Prashant for 25 minutes or so. So without any further ado, Prashant, over to you.
Thanks, Omer. Thanks for providing the opportunity. I'm very pleased to participate in this discussion. So as Omer mentioned, my name is Prashant Dhingra. I just started the company Dataknobs a few months ago. Our goal is that we want to enable building data products. And to build data products, I am showing here two references from Forbes and HBR. That to build a data product, one need to use a drivetrain approach, and the levers on data is very important. Levers are the mechanism that let you control data. So that's the reason our company name is Dataknobs, because we have designed on this principle that we want to control data, AI, and also utilize using levers or the knobs. There's a reference from HBR also, which specify that when somebody build a data product, one need to focus on algorithm that produce the data or the logic that produce the data, as well as whether users are liking the data or not. So you will see in the subsequent slides that our product lineup is also aligned to this approach. That we are building on data set as well as we are building on experimentation on that data set with the user. So our company name is Dataknobs. So data is key. We use data-centric AI, and to build new data products, we use variety of approaches, generative AI, and other part of data engineering. So during the session, if you have any question, do let me know. So we'll get started with this. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So at Dataknobs, we are building two product lineup: Create and A/B Experiment. So as mentioned in the previous slide, we are focusing on building data and tools as well as experimenting. So in the Create lineup, we have capabilities which allows us to create new data set. So using the raw data, we want to build higher level concept. So using web scraping, using AI, using generative AI, we can create new data set or combine existing data set to build a new data set. We also are putting together anonymization capability and differential privacy capability so that we can build gold data set, which has high predictive power and which are also safe to use. And it can be used in variety of machine learning models. So Create data set is our first kind of capability. The other capability we are putting together is once we have created data set, we wanted to surface this data to user for consumption. So we are putting together a variety of visualization and website creation. We also have a product coming for enterprise level knowledge management creation. So after creating data, we surface the data to user, and we want to do it with minimal code, or like earlier people were using low code, no code approaches. We have low code, no code, as well as generative AI, using which we can generate visualization, generate website. And then the next step is we we are generating or creating chatbots. So not only user can consume the result using visualization, user can ask question from the data, and chatbot will answer those questions. So these are our capabilities as part of create lineup. And in A/B experiment, as we create new data, we allow user to experiment with data so that they can determine which algorithm or which set of feature engineering gives them the right result. So there is a experimentation tool, and with create website and visualization, we want to experiment with user whether user is liking the output which has been presented to it or not. Because at the end of the day, data is produced so that a user should be able to gain benefit either through a app or through a website or through a visualization. So we have a A/B testing capability, which we have democratized, and using this one can experiment with A/B testing. As people start using chatbot in most of the application, A/B testing will become more complex in chatbot, because currently A/B testing on website is only testing whether a specific change in the website is impactful or not. But in a chatbot, there is a sequence of engagement with the user. So testing whether the chatbot is engaging user, whether it is effective and enabling user to close the task. A/B testing methods also require more advancement. So our A/B experiment tool will provide all this capability, which allow us to experiment with data. This is for data scientists, and then A/B testing, and then A/B testing for chatbot. This is how these capabilities are aligned. So today we'll focus or showcase create website and A/B testing tool, because these capabilities, we are able to put it as a SaaS mechanism and user can consume it. So I will walk you through how one can use these capabilities. So this is another slide that describe how create and A/B experiment are aligned. Create allows us to generate website. It basically democratize web design, and A/B experiment democratize A/B testing. The focus on website generation is startup or small companies can't afford a team of web designer or web developer, and they should be able to compete with big companies by quickly producing content and publishing it as big company does it. And in a big company also, there is a lot of effort required to convert content into web pages and then publish it. So by democratizing web design, people will be able to publish faster, and because they will be able to publish faster and they will be able to try multiple design, they can also do A/B testing using our packages. So this is how these tools are aligned. This slide shows that you can use Create for generating website, and end-to-end website is generated and hosted for you. But it doesn't mean that a web designer or a team doesn't have a control. You can consider this as an assistant tool. Like today, people create web pages, and then these are created by developers, and then these are hosted on a site. So how Create makes a difference is a user can bring the raw content, and from the raw content we create the web pages which a developer or a web designer would have produced, and they can directly go into the website automatically. But if you want to change those, a web designer or web developer can change those in the right side of the pages. So they still have the control, but instead of starting from a scratch, now they are not starting from a scratch. A decent web design will be created for them, and they can always refine it. And once they refine it, the next cycle will pick their design, and the generation will happen according to their design. So that's how Create can do end-to-end website generation, or it can assist in website, and then developer can work on it instead of starting from scratch. Because now you can easily generate a web design, and you can host website easily. So that also gives empowerment that you are not restricted to only one website design or one web app design. You can generate multiple, and then you can A/B test. A human can evaluate which design looks good, or if you have enough traffic, you can A/B test and determine whether your design A is good or design B or design C is good. So that's how the process works. Um, so going one step further, so we talked about create an A/B experiment, create democratize web design, and A/B experiment democratize A/B testing. Now let's talk more about create, like what all things create does. So a user focus on bringing the content, and they bring their content type, which is text, HTML, markup, PDF, slides, photos, video links, and they can drop their content into a Google Drive or GitHub bucket, or into a Azure bucket or AWS bucket or GCP bucket, because different profile prefer different things. And optionally, if they like, they can also give few configuration, like what kind of a theme or layout they want, and if they, whether they want us to generate SEO or whether they want themselves to generate SEO, whether they are providing the content or they are just giving the prompt and they want us to generate content. So those all configuration can be given. From there, create will create web pages for them, an end-to-end website for them, and they will be able to get the landing pages, blog pages, detail pages, and there will be a CI/CD pipeline that will automatically deploy either on Azure or GCP or AWS, their cloud, whatever cloud provider they want. And we will also add these things into their preferred GitHub or Google Drive or into a cloud bucket. So their website will get built, which will be available over internet. In addition, they will also see a lot of knobs generated for them, which will give them a control. So for example, if we have generated SEO and we are generating 25-letter title and they want 15-letter title, if we are generating longer URL, they want shorter URL. So all of these will be given to them as a knobs in a simple configuration file, in a text configuration, which any marketer or any non-technical person can read and they can change it. And if they change those knobs, the next time onward, their preference will be taken included, and then the web pages will be generated according to their preference. So input is their content, and the output is the website, and as well as the knobs, which gives them the control. Okay. So I will move to the next slide. A little bit more detail what happens behind the scene. So when we generate web pages, it requires significant amount of work. It's not straightforward to generate web pages, and all these things are automated, and the relevant technologies are used, like generative AI, automation, and variety of text. So for example, we include text, slide, images, video links, code sample, and we generate individual web pages by including the CSS, JavaScript, and we create individual web page. Then we generate SEO, because this has been a challenge for most of the non-technical people as well as marketers, that it takes a lot of effort to pay attention to what should be my URL structure, what should be my title, alt text, page description. So all these are also get included, and now you have a page which is complete with the SEO. Then one also need to pay attention to what kind of a header, footer, links in between, links on left side, right side should be produced. And if you have a 500-page website, producing those links is a challenge, and we then generate the complete site, and then we test it and then deploy it, and after post deployment test it again, monitor it. We do the sitemap generation, and submit the sitemap. So using this end-to-end site is built and generated and submit to search engine. Now, one thing to note here is, if you see all the existing tool in the market, whether it is WordPress, Wix, Webflow, or anything else, because these things take a lot of effort, and building hundreds of pages with consistency is a challenge. So every tool has use database at the back end. So whenever a user submit the content, it goes into the database, and that's how the consistency is maintained. And when a user is visiting to the web page, a database hit happens, and in a consistent manner, those tools are able to serve the web pages. This process works, but every time there is a page access, there is a database hit, which makes it a like a page, a heavy page. And for coming on top of search engine, one also need to have a good page speed. So it impact the page speed. It also add to complexity, because now you are running a database, and you require a database in the hosting, which also add security challenges. And then if you want to move from one provider to other provider, it locks you in, or like you have to again hire web developer to make the changes. And so it adds more dependency upon developer, it adds more dependency upon security people. And then you have to keep spending on costlier and costlier hosting, and even then the pages doesn't get served because database hit is very costly. So what this tool does, it generates very lightweight HTML pages. No other tool generate HTML pages in the past, because it is extremely hard to bring consistency across all the pages. But now, because we are able to use AI, generative AI, we are able to put together hundreds or thousands of pages of website with all the consistency and links integrated, and we are able to produce lightweight pages. One other thing to note is, um, whenever new devices come, uh, people have to again hire web developer to change the form factor. And in next couple of years, or even this year, foldable devices are coming, and people will again go through that churn. So with this approach, content owner only needs to focus on content, and our engine only will change, and then it will generate according to the new form factor. Then every 2-3 months, Google or Bing changes their algorithm, and then people change their SEO accordingly. So in this case, because we are generating it, we only change our engine, and content is kept separate. So content owner need not have to worry about it. We continue to generate as the algorithm changes happen. And after the generative AI came in, website will go through a lot of changes, and you will see these algorithm changes will be happening very fast. In coming months and coming year. So we avoid this hassle of creating and recreating form factor or recreating SEO, because this is done at one place in our engine, and we can continue to regenerate according to new form factors or new SEO guidelines. So that's how this thing work. And using this approach, we are able to produce website, online books, photo galleries, marketing blogs, or people who write a lot of slides, they can produce slides blog. People who write code, they can publish code blogs, or you can combine all of these things in one site. So this is what I have for today. I can show you example how these things work in action. Let me know any questions so far. Otherwise, I can show you a few examples.
So maybe perhaps, thank you, Prashant. Perhaps a couple of quick questions because we have those asked earlier. So first of all,
Yeah.
thank you for kind of giving us an overview of it. One question I had was, people often feel that there's a lot of chatter and talk about generative AI and the barrier is high. So how actually Dataknobs is helping in solving that in terms of for those, it seems like that essentially rather than using generative AI directly, people can use products like Dataknob and then benefit from it. Is that so? That's one. And secondly, all the different kinds of content you mentioned that could be created, is it possible for marketing purposes that this could be essentially, more customly designed through the use of CSS?
Yes, yes. So these are good questions. So let me pass this question. One is how to quickly start in generative AI. So generative AI is a big area, and understanding everything and building a model from scratch is quite complex. It requires infrastructure, it requires tools, and then it requires bringing data from internet, and then building a foundation model, and then using the foundation model, fine-tuning it. So most people will take a foundation model and fine-tune it. So um, we also picked up a scenario where we were able to use generative AI in a safe manner. So example here is, if somebody wants to try generative AI, how it works in web designing, this scenario is very safe, because we are just generating a set of um, CSS template, which a web designer will do it on a repeatable basis. So we have basically automated that process using Gen AI, and whatever CSS you will get as an output, it will not be very random or very highly creative. It will stick to certain structures we have already in place. So um, um, so one can start using generative AI using our tool Crate, and we have paid attention to scenarios where there are um, no legal or ethical or any copyright concern, because uh, we have set of CSS template. We stick to only generation within those. And if a user bring, your second question was, can user bring their own CSS template? So yes, if a user bring their own CSS template, we will include that CSS template in our repo, and then is a simple config change that will point to that CSS, and from next point onward, the HTML page generation will happen according to their CSS. So user will have complete control. And marketing team or anybody who wants to gain benefit from generative AI without worrying about any of the legal or ethical concern, this is the safest scenario, that just to publish your own content, because you're not taking anybody else's content. You publish your own content according to the CSS or HTML templates we have.
Got it.
So we easily get started.
Cool. Thank you. I mean, I have another question, but probably I will leave that for you towards the end. Let's have a
Okay.
quick demo as well. You mentioned you were going to show us.
Okay, so I want to highlight these. Like, these are a few example website, and we are also running our business using this tool. So let's say this is our site, Dataknobs, and this is about A/B experiment tool is hosted here. So if you let's say if you see this page, generative AI one-on-one slides. Now this kind of a page, if web designer design it, it will take significant effort. But if you, this page I just created from our slides or PowerPoint, and it automatically created it. And not only it's a page that looks okay, but it also does very well with search engine. So I give you this example. Let's say if I go to Google and I search generative AI slides 101, and this is not a this is a keyword which is lot in demand, generative AI nowadays. And you will see that our link comes at the top. Sometimes it comes at the top, sometimes it comes at second, third, fourth places. But yeah, so here it comes at the top. If I go into the Bing, let's say here also, if I ask so Bing also, it comes on the top. So everybody who is publishing on web, their goal is that they want their page to be found. 90% of the pages never get visited on web. And I think there was another statistics that more than 96% are also like very frequently visited, and only like 2-3% of the pages get visited. And when somebody is starting a company, or when somebody is a self-employed, for them they can't afford big web designing team, and they want their page to be visible. So just by using our slide, we can convert these pages, and SEO is done. And because these pages are raw HTML page, you can see it here. It is very lightweight, so it win against other pages in terms of speed. It win because of the SEO, as well as we have a good content in the slides, which we are now able to use it. And it so combination of all these things, your content, your speed, and SEO, this page comes at the top. And then it's not only this page. Now let's say if I go here, there is a second layer page, like what is the generative AI adoption framework. So if you search this also on Google or Bing, generative AI adoption framework, and many companies, you also ask this question, how one can adopt generative AI, and a lot of people search for it. When people search for that term, the second layer page also comes at top, and then there is a more detailed blog. So what we can do from user content is we can create this 3-layer ladders also. So you have a main slides or a aggregate page, then there is a second level of slides, and then there is a more detail, and different personas look for different info, and you can get traffic from all these channels. And if you look around, there are companies who will charge you, let's say, $20,000 per year just to create this 3-level ladder, and you need to create it. They will just give you tool to do it. But now we can generate all these 3-level ladders directly from your content. So that's how we are.
Prashant, sorry to interrupt you. Maybe a question. There was a question on the thread as well, mentioning of other companies. What are other market competitors to what you are doing?
So when I show somebody that, okay, we create website, people generally say Wix, WordPress are the competitor, but our approach is very different. In Wix, WordPress, or in any other website builder, you will open a UI designer and you will upload your content there. And in our case, you do not open that UI designer. You will, wherever you have a content, you will just drop it into a Google Drive. So in my view, it's a very different approach. And it becomes obvious when you are a web agency, or let's say if you're managing 100 websites or 1,000 website, there you will require a human to open that web designer and paste the content there. And that makes it like a very slow process. So I've not seen generation of HTML pages. If you have seen, I would love to see that there is a Gatsby, and there was a static website generator, Hugo, I believe, that generate website, but it only generates from markup. It also doesn't generate from slides. And I didn't talk about the other aspect of it. Those website generators generated, so there is a one-to-one mapping, that you have a text or a markup and it will generate an HTML. In this case, we can include our content in other articles. So basically, you write one paragraph at one place, you can include this into 7 different pages, or you can include this into 100 different websites. You can also have a rotation mechanism. So once a user start using it, they will get experience to all those advanced features, because Google or Bing search engines are looking from fresh pages. They don't like pages where the content remains same. So for a content owner, they can't keep writing content because it takes a lot of time. So if they have written a paragraph, and that paragraph is relevant in many chapters of a book, or in many articles, so here you can easily include this. So let's say if I'm writing this book, and I can write it as a paragraph, I can form a chapter, and if some of these paragraphs may be relevant in another cases, I can include this with the code. So with one content, we are able to use it in many HTML pages. So I've not seen those kind of features anywhere else. So the goal here is we should be able to publish fast. We should be able to publish a lot of pages, and those pages should not be in a database, but are cache pages. So even if the output pages are cache static, but they are dynamically created on a regular basis using Gen AI. So you get the benefit of both world, that you are generating on a regular basis, but at the same time serving to user in a as a lightweight pages.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be out of time pretty soon, Prashant. Really, really appreciate for you to join in today and walking us through Dataknobs. I hope folks on the call you found this helpful and interesting. So, just kind of a wrap up. I plan to run these sessions frequently. So, in the future, probably will organize a bit better in terms of sending the invitation. If you like it, please share it with the others. We do record these sessions, and I will be bringing in more guests. And if you have any further questions, please do reach out to Prashant. I will send his details as well in the note, so that in case if you have potential collaboration, you would like to work with Prashant, you're welcome to do so. With that, Prashant, thank you so much. And thank you for everyone to join in. I hope this was useful.
Thanks a lot.